This is Ava, our very first articulated art doll. Hi there! How was Ava made? Well, I'm going to tell you. Ava's story begins with 10 pounds of polymer clay over the course of 3 years. Wow, that's a lot of clay. In 2018, I began sculpting a prototype for my art doll using polymer clay. Polymer clay, which is technically not clay, it's polyvinyl chloride, a type of soft, flexible polymer or plastic. I chose polymer clay because of the instant gratification. You can pop it in the oven and it's finished baking within minutes. Then it's ready to be carved and sanded. It's truly efficient time-wise. And while working a full-time job, I needed time on my side. Polymer clay never dries out, which is one of my favorite things about it. This is my original prototype, made out of polymer clay. I used Super Sculpey Living Doll. It's primed in gray to help us spot imperfections on the surface, because every single imperfection will present itself in the mold. And here is that face, cast in resin. Eventually, that face became this face. I was pretty darn happy with that face and started designing the body. This was my very first fully cast doll. Designing the doll for me was really fun. The engineering was definitely the most difficult part. Here's one of the Seminar Ava heads. You can clearly see the size difference is pretty substantial. However, that face evolved from the original prototype over time. Here is a Poppy Pixie cast. And I think I've come full circle. Look how much Poppy resembles my original vision. Look at Poppy, all partied up. Here I have my original body. I don't know what was going on or what I was thinking with those funky hip lines, but eventually that body transformed into the body that I use today. We start the mold making process by building these simple boxes out of foam board and lots of hot glue. Then we prep the parts by filling all the holes with plasticine. We glue little supports to each part. This will hold the pieces up inside the box, which in turn becomes the pour spout. Throughout the video, you will hear me mention air bubbles quite a bit. If air gets trapped inside your mold, the mold is a goner, and making a mold is very time-consuming. Here is a part infiltrated with air bubbles. More than likely, I didn't get this part into the pressure pot quite in time. It literally took us years to learn how to position and angle each piece inside the molding box to reduce the air and produce a cast with no air bubbles. Now we're pouring our 2-part silicone. Why pink? Because pink is so pretty. After we mix our 2-part silicone together, we'll place it inside of a pressure tank for degassing. This will help remove as much air as possible. Check out all those crazy air bubbles being removed. And now it's time to pour the silicone into the prepared mold boxes. We pour the silicone nice and high, creating a thin stream, again preventing as much air from entering. It's been 24 hours and now we can remove all the molds from the boxes. These are all 1-part molds. We make 2-part molds as well, and yes, they take twice as long. My husband has pretty much mastered the zigzag cut for our molds. He's done this so many times, and he knows where to cut the opening for each individual part. The zigzag design helps lock in the resin for 0 leakage. Okay, time to cast some doll parts with our new molds. Our resin, like most, consists of 2 parts. Part A is the base resin, Part B is the hardener. We tint Part B with compatible colorants to create some really pretty fleshy tones. This particular resin is measured by volume, not weight. It has a 10-minute pot life, which means my son has 10 minutes to mix those 2 parts, pour into the mold, and pressurize before it begins to harden. Pouring the resin slowly with a thin stream helps eliminate air bubbles. Air bubbles. Air bubbles are the enemy to all resin artists. There are so many factors that can affect your cast, like humidity, temperature, even the age of your resin could affect the outcome of a cast. Those are some good-looking casts. Great job, TJ. We snip off the supports and then use a belt sander to help smooth the parts. Now to clean the seams. Here I'm using a variety of sandpaper grits to clean up the seams from the mold. I've definitely become proficient at sanding, and it's in my name, so it makes sense. Sanding and buffing all the doll parts takes me about 4 hours from start to finish. And now for the fun part, the face-up. Finally, we've come to the last step of the process, stringing the doll. I already had the event dolls completed when I decided to include this demo, so here is my newest face sculpt, which is the same body, Miss Sage. She has so graciously volunteered. I popped off screen here to tie off the cords because I basically look like a complete lunatic pulling the cords to tie them off. I've decided to share with you tying off the midsection. You can see I'm doing some real wrangling, and poor Sage. And there she is in one piece. So that's your story, Ava. And now you're at MDCC, and you look fabulous, girl. Thank you to MDCC for this amazing experience, to everybody who came today to support me, to my family for which this would not even be possible, and a very special thank you to Erin Green of Cottontail Doll Designs for sewing these adorable outfits. Thank you.